Hi. All right, I'm going to read some more poems to you this morning. I guess time. So today I am going to read from a chapbook by Megan Burns, and it's titled "Fuck Love, I'm Sorry Someone Hurt You." I'll show you the inside right here. There's a picture. You can see it's from some graffiti that she found for the title. So this is Megan Burns. She's an established poet. You can find her books on Lavender Press, which I'll put below. She is the founder and publisher of Trembling Pillow Press, which I'll also put below. She makes beautiful books from amazing poets. I think you'll be really, really excited with what you find at Trembling Pillow Press. And you certainly will be excited by Megan Burns' own titles on Lavender Press. I actually don't have any of her books right now because I give them away. Because that's what you do when you find a really great book of poetry, which is probably what I'll do with this. Also, after I read you some from this today, she also runs the New Orleans Poetry Festival every spring, which should be happening this month, but obviously that can't happen. So it's unfortunate that it can't happen, but it's par for the course in these days, right? There's all sorts of things. That are not able to happen at this time. So it will be up and running again. If it's not the biggest poetry festival in the country, it certainly will be very soon. Poets come from everywhere to be part of this. I think it's a 4-day long festival. It's amazing, and you can kind of take over and go hang out in New Orleans, which is a really cool place to be. So hopefully, I'll put all the links in down below so you can take a look at what that's all about. I will also put a link to a Facebook stream that is happening because Megan Burns has also run a reading series, a poetry reading series for many years called Blood Jet Poetry. Many years. The reason I keep bringing up really that Megan Burns is an established poet is because she still makes these. She makes chapbooks and zines, and which was something I was talking about yesterday. If you watched my video reading from Dix Marie's work of why it's so important and cool and fun to make these things, to be able to put something in somebody's hands and show them your work, somebody who's going to care, somebody who's going to be affected in this really wonderful way by the work that you're doing. So I'm going to read 3 poems from Fuck Love, I'm Sorry Someone Hurt You, which if you're able to have some downtime right now, not everyone is. A lot of people have to go to jobs that are more dangerous than they were before. And some people are at home and they're not able to earn an income. And that's all very scary and very terrifying. If you're someone who's okay and you're at home, now is a really good time to think about who you are and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about other people and how you handle love. How do you handle love? I mean, all of your feelings are valid. I think that's a really important message from me today. It's something I've been thinking about a lot the last 24 hours. The way you feel is how you feel, and those they don't need to be fixed. Nobody needs to fix those feelings, and nobody needs to tell you that you should feel another way, and you don't need to tell yourself that you need to feel another way. You get to feel how you feel, and the more you really recognize that, the less that you're going to project those feelings onto other people, or the less you're going to gaslight other people, or the less you're hopefully maybe going to be gaslit. So anyway, your feelings are valid, and now's a really good time to think about how you love yourself, how you love other people, and how to move forward when we get to be released into the wild again, for those of us lucky enough to be safe at home. Okay. All right. I'm going to read 3 poems for you from Megan Burns. Fuck Love, I'm Sorry Somebody Hurt You. So this one is titled Tender. Babe, why are there so many letters between us? Myriad gestures of shutting down, like my options for fucking. Yes, no, and yes. Even when my answer is no, that's the world handed to me, a shatter. Travel with me, the dead space of vagarity. Cloak silence, you wear the same excuses as my last abuser. Even if you don't stab me with your hands, you silence me, ignore me. And that wounding is a delicatessen, an always open buffet I lapped from. Never full, but I think some years of fighting back have made me hard enough to say goodbye without explanation. Some sick desire to cart your heart safely, while I wearily protect my own. But why? When you don't care how I'm held together, binding sheaves, clutching language, I spore into empty air, called by the edge of you and you edging me. Then I wanted it all differently. Crawled out your window. That's hyperbole. You never let me in. Shame was the first floor. We never went any higher. Stop before rising, the doors just closing, the look on your face when I slipped out. That's Tender by Megan Burns. Shame was the first floor. We never went higher. Wow. I mean, I've read these poems a few times at this point, and it just really got me reading that today. Like, what an amazing layered line that is. And I think that sometimes what we don't, I mean, for people who read a lot of poetry or write poetry, you know how much is in a line of poetry. But I think for folks that are new to it, or folks that don't necessarily engage with it very often, how much goes into a line of poetry and how much meaning can be beneath it is pretty extraordinary. And how much meaning can be there the next time you show up for the poem, which is also the way I see it. We show up for poems, okay? So that's what we're doing right now. We're showing up for these poems by Megan Burns. All right, let me get a drink. Okay, this one is titled Forget About Love. Dress it up. Every little girl knows the way to womanhood is breaking. A little blood turns the bath water into a type of ritual. You would think the first time I put a penis in my mouth would create a memory, but it's blank. Sex was slippery, awkward, bent over the toilet with my hands gripping the back was how he entered me. It was Valentine's Day. I was dizzy after. I made a cake that spelled out, I love you. Red hats melting into white icing, pink nubs, my fingers, my tongue. Eat it with a proper fork. A pattern isn't a pattern in the beginning. It takes to realize every man you sleep with more than 3 times, you will insist on falling in love with. And when they fall back in love, you will go looking for someone new to fuck. You can take as much as you want if you call it something else. Forget About Love. All right, that's Forget About Love by Megan Burns. And when they fall in love back, you will go looking for someone new to fuck. Okay, so you think about, like I say, think about your own approaches to love and sex and caring about yourself and caring about other people over your lifetime. Like this is a this is a good time in the world to think it through. All right, so one more. I'm going to read you one more from Megan Burns today. And this one is called American Horror Story. I want to kind of show you, like, she has some poems that are in verse. Oops. Verse and then verse. I'm sorry, it's backwards for me. Verse and then some that are prose poems. So you can, there's no really right or wrong way to do this. All right. This one's called American Horror Story. What is it about a woman's body that is so rapeable? That the telling is apparent, so it whips. Once upon the house of the holy, in red tinted diabolicals, where ran this fluid. What a calling! She can be a nerving, she can be thrushed, hush. The lickiest lullaby, dreams are full of unspeakable desires. Can you have a story without the bending of her, without the undressing, without the insertion, without the subtle cues that speak what is power, what love in the face of? The end result of a cultural misogyny is socialized murder. But let's recall that fiction excuses male violence when it's caused by evil forces. Twin Peaks, this plot line. So the infestation is excusable. In this one, she gets a baby. In this one, she gets fame. In this one, she gets revenge and to be born again. See, rape is a way for a woman to get ahead. This horror show. This, our American horror story in any century, in any city, the script stays the same. Claim is keep in line, historically, line by line. This abuse stays golden, media pool. This news refracts. You get to see how it looks, the raping. You get to pause it, you get to rewind it, you get to fast forward it, but you can't have the tail excised of. You have to participate if you want in. You have to participate if you want in. And everyone wants in. Who doesn't love a good scare? American Horror Story. I think that poem's really relevant right now. I mean, always, like she says, in any century, right? But we haven't gotten to a century where that story is not important. So I hope I've told you everything you need to know about Megan Burns. Find her on Lavender Press. Get a copy of Basic Programming. And then also see the titles that she publishes. Her books are beautiful on Trembling Pillow. It's all down below. Check her out on Facebook, Bloodjet Poetry. Anyway, thanks for listening. And I hope these poems find you well and thoughtful. All right, more to come.